Hey guys, I figured it was about time I made a guide for Lee Sin. I've been playing him as long as I've played the game, 3.5 years, and he's actually pretty strong right now. He actually got an indirect buff by the new item changes for Preseason 6. So the first of the two big changes is the introduction of the Tracker's Knife, the new jungle item that gives you wards when you visit base. You get 2 wards. Lee Sin is very reliant on ward jumps. The other reason that he's strong is it's now free to switch between Ravenous and Titanic Hydra. So if you have one of them built, you don't have to spend anything to switch over to the other one. And that's really important because Lee Sin, you usually want to build glass cannon, so high damage, no defense early on. And once you start getting some health items, then you switch this Hydra over to Titanic Hydra. You can just keep building health, you can get some magic resist. Eventually you can sell your warrior item and get a Cinder Hulk if you reach that point. This was the first weekend of 5.23 where the items were introduced. You can see I won over 2 days. I won 12 games in a row with Lee Sin, mostly ranked. And some of the games that don't reach the end, I have Ravenous. And then some of the games that are full build, I have switched over to Titanic Hydra. The boots are pretty much always situational. So if you're early on, sometimes I just get mobility and don't get an enchantment. Then maybe I'll just sell those boots at the end to get like Merc Treads or something. The biggest mistake I see Lee Sin players make is that they don't correctly optimize his attack speed using his passive. After Lee Sin uses an ability, his next 2 basic attacks gain attack speed. So you want to space out with exactly 2 auto attacks between every ability activation. And remember that each of his abilities have 2 activations if you hit the first one. So the Q is the orb that flies, and if you hit somebody, then you can fly towards them. Your W, and the first one just shields you, and then the second part of it gives you Spell Vamp and Lifesteal. 2 important things when you're jungling. The second part of Q does damage based on missing health of the target. So if you're going to smite, you want to do that before the second part of Q. Your W, it gives you Spell Vamp, the second part of it. So you want to make sure that if you smite, the second part of W is active. Level 1, you start Q, and then you go W, and then E. And that's the same order that I usually max also. So max Q, max W, max E. Now there's a very specific order based on the things I just told you about the Q and the W. So we're going to start with the W, and then since the second part of W gives you Lifesteal and Spell Vamp, that's when you want to smite, so you get a little bit of extra health back from that. The smite will heal you. And then after that, we do the Q because the Q does more damage based on missing health. So the optimal combo sequence is 1 auto attack, W, 2 auto attacks, W, 2 auto attacks, smite, Q, 2 auto attacks, Q, 2 auto attacks, and then your W's back up. Do the same thing. Just farm up until I get level 3, and then I'm going to gank bot lane to show you the typical ganking ability order. You want to try to force their flash before you use the Q. So I'm going to ward jump, I'm going to slow them with my E, and then if they have a flash, they'll hopefully use it, and then you can follow up with the Q. So you want to save the Q for the end. Not only because it does the most damage at the end, but also because that's how you can counter their dash or whatever they use to escape. Okay, so hopping into a real game. This is a replay. Level 1 Q, just like I showed, and level 2 will be W. I'm going to smite red buff, not Krugs. And it should be the same exact sequence. Auto attack, it's actually slow-mo. W, 2 autos, W, 2 autos with smite in there somewhere. and then Q, 2 autos, Q, 2 autos, W, and so on. I always attack the big guys first, no matter what, on this champion. So right there, I just decided to use Smite to get the really quick level 3. I mean, there's no real reason to smite your wolves otherwise, but I just wanted a fast level 3. And now I'm gonna go be annoying, because Lee Sin is very strong early on, and I'm gonna use my early game strength just to pressure this guy. I'm just letting him know I'm here, just so he's kind of pressured, and hopefully I can draw the jungler up here. Because it's a Mumu jungle. I mean, that's like the easiest opponent as Lee Sin. You want to be scared of like Xin Zhao or Udyr or Jax, but a Mumu, no. Actually got lucky and found him over here with no health. So then I'm going to steal his red buff, of course. Same sequence pretty much. And then I'm going to go back up to harass top lane. Usually I pick one lane and try to really shut the guy down. At some point I'm actually going to make something happen, and then at that point I'll leave. Here we go. So finally landed a Q. You don't want to like full on tower dive early on, but I got my Thunderlord's Decree to happen. My masteries, the Keystone Mastery. So every third attack, so there's Q, that's first attack. Second part of Q that counts as 2, 1 auto attack, Lightning Bolt, dash out to safety with a shield to protect from the tower. And that took like a big portion of his health. You can see he's down to like a quarter health, and I only took a little bit of damage. So that's a good time for me to leave. I did my job. I know Mumu's weak, so I'm trying to find him. I see him top lane. He's going to try to gank. When you see the enemy jungler try to gank, that's your chance to go get a double kill. Counter ganks are like the way to win games. Not ganks. I would say counter ganks are more important to predict. So I'm going to try to save this guy. But I do get the double kill. You can see that I instantly shielded as soon as I flashed, and that's because I pressed W on him before I flashed. So W to my teammate right now, and then I flash. So as soon as I go in range, it'll activate that. Still wasn't enough to save him, but it's okay, I got 2 kills. Now I'm 3-0. First item, Tracker's Knife, and I'm gonna get the Caulfield's Warhammer that builds into Warrior Enchantment, and boots. Just normal clearing. I pink Dragon because I can solo Dragon around level 6. But I see a Mumu mid lane now, so I'm headed up there. So Zed actually gets out alive. I'm aiming for Brand because he's the squishy one with low health. So I land the Q, I ult, he's dead. Now Mumu, I got my red buff on him and my E to slow him down. And now he's headed for his raptors, so I'm gonna follow him over with my Q. That's exactly why I say to use Q at the end when you're ganking. I mean, I use the Q at the start, but the cooldown's short, but if you're just doing a normal gank, you want to save the Q for that reason. If someone's going to flash away or do something to escape. Just another look at that. You gotta make sure that you do it before they get out of range though, because you can't, if they do get far enough, you can't activate your Q. Even if you have your Q marked on them still, if they're too far, you can't follow them. And then I got lucky here, just freebies. Now how much money do I have? I'm 6-0. I'm at 4,300 total, so I got 1,500 right now. Everybody else is around 2K. finish my warrior enchantment, and then pickaxe, which is going to be for my Tiamat. That's my first item straight after the jungle items, Tiamat. That active just increases your already ridiculous burst. So I'm headed towards dragon right now. See brand, so I'm gonna... Okay, see how I drop a ward there to ward jump? That wasn't just to gap close, that was because I was actually gonna ward that spot. But because I wanted to follow brand, I decided to jump to the ward also. Okay, so this time I know he's right there, so I just decided to flash, kick into my teammate. So you saw right there, I queued the guy after I ulted. That's actually unavoidable for the other guy. If you kick somebody, they can't use any spells. They can't flash away from your Q like that. So that's a good way to get a guaranteed Q. Is to ult him first. Team fight's about to happen. So Mumu. I get my Q on him. At the end of Dragon, you want to try to, if you have your second part of Q off cooldown, you want to use that, because it's going to do like 400 damage. You want to use that in combination with your Smite, the second part of Q. Also, you can use your other abilities like Tiamat or Hydra in combination. So where's the enemy jungle? I'm just going to harass this guy, I guess, more, like I haven't already enough. Ward jump. Oh, if you ult him first, they don't have, and you follow it up with the Q, there's no frames that they have a chance to flash out of. Then you have a guaranteed follow up with the Q. So ward jump, kick him out of tower range. Q, follow up. Alright, so I got 2200 right now, 13-1. Finish that Ravenous Hydra, buy some more damage and cooldown reduction with the Caulfield's Warhammer. And I'm probably just gonna give this to Teemo because I'm the jungler. I'm gonna spend less time in the lane, so it's gonna help me less. If you can ever line up your ults, that's a really good thing to try to do. Line up people so you can get more knockups. You can clear minions really fast with your Tiamat E. Just like that. So you can split push if you want. And I mean, you can see that once you get to mid game, your clears are just instant. Just decide to push bot lane because this tower is still not down. Easy target. Ooh, Varus. Not good. Another example of the Q following the ult to make it undodgeable. So I'm trying to. I thought he was gonna flash that wall, so I waited. Brand knew what I was doing. He waited for me to Q before he flashed. Still not enough though, Brand. Sorry, I have 17 kills. So my ult's up in 15 seconds, so I can't really do anything. I burst this guy real low, missed my Q. That was crucial because that would have ended him. That is why I die for the third time. I missed that Q. Alright, so right now, I just switched over to tank. I just got the Titanic Hydra. I finished Black Cleaver, bought a Giant's Belt, and people are not going to expect how tanky I am. So I can sustain in fights for a long time. Because I was just glass cannon, and now I'm tanky. Look, I have almost 3,000 health now, and my damage is still good. Clear speed isn't as instant. I mean, instead of like me clearing something in a quarter of a second, it's going to take like a full second. And now the strategy, instead of me trying to get picks and trying to delete people before they can react, my job now is to try to get a good positioned ultimate of the enemy carry, like a Brand or Varus. Try to kick them into one of my carries. Or the Janna, if that's all you get. So I ward jump to position myself so she'd fly towards Teemo. I'm just gonna sit in the back, be safe, land a Q on this guy. Now he's gonna try to get away, and okay, I'm gonna show that in slow-mo because he almost got out of range to deactivate my Q, but I jumped to my teammate with my W to stay in range of the Q. So he jumps away, he's gonna flash the wall. So I jump to Draven to get in range of the Q to follow him over the wall. Here I'm just gonna finish Deadman's Plate. Finally I'll just get, look, I have 15k total, everybody else in the enemy team 7k, 8k, 9k. So lastly, I'm just going to get some magic resist to balance myself out, and then I'll sell my boots if I have to get Merc Treads, and I'll sell my jungle item to get Cinderholt. And at that point I'll have like 5,000 health. You can just picture how tanky it gets, but you'll see that in the end part of this game. I don't think I actually I do get Cinderholt this game. So yeah, you'll see that. Anyways, hopefully you guys learned. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you guys next time.